Okay, what's up, everybody? This is the Comedy Cellar Nightly. Here we are. We got a great panel tonight. I'm your host this evening, Ryan Beck. There's a lot going on. There's plenty to talk about, so we'll see how we do with that. Our panel includes tonight Mr. Ryan Reiss. Hello.
What's up? Thanks for having me at the table.
You got it. Is this a virtual background you have, Ryan, or is that really your wall?
No, this is my sad life. This is how I exist. It's always stand up.
Exposed brick. Very nice. And then we have DC Benny. DC, nice Jeep in the background.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Good to be here.
And Brian Scott McFadden with the real mic.
I got a real mic here. I don't fuck around, man. I'm here in the Strand bookstore also. So my Strand bookstore.
I was briefly talking with Ryan very, very briefly right before this started about like doing shows and stuff. He mentioned that he was touring a little bit. Have you guys been out doing things? No.
Good for Ryan, but no.
Hi, Gina. Gina Brillon with us.
Thanks for the support, Brian. I felt that. I appreciate it.
No. I'm saying I'm supporting you. I'm saying good for you, but some of us aren't so lucky and in demand. That's my point.
Right.
What?
I'm certainly not in demand. I'm like I'm chomping at the bit to perform in a parking lot. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Oh my God. You got to go hang out at the drive.
Yeah, you got to hang out at the parking lot. You got to like pay your dues at the parking lot.
Damn it.
DC looks like he's at DC. You look like you're at an opium den or something over there. You look very mellow. And
I'm in Shanghai right now. In a den. I'm eating some duck sauce and just chilling out, and it's good, man. Opium's good. And it's good to see everybody here, and wow, Ryan Reiss got the brick in the background, and you got what is that, a CD rack back there? It's fucking cool, man. This is old school.
And Gina Brillon.
Gina's got these beautiful sconces behind her.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And she's super pregnant.
Oh, I'm so pregnant, you guys.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm super I'm 8 months at this point.
Wow.
Oh.
Damn.
Wait, that means that the last time I saw you, congratulations,
that
you were pregnant.
Hell yeah. I was hella pregnant and working, and then this stupid fucking pandemic just stopped all the work, and now I've just been pregnant and at home.
I don't know anything
Fantastic.
about that life. That's wild. You taped your special pregnant.
I did. I was pregnant for the special and nobody knew. And I was like, wow. I had just found out. I found out the week before the special.
Oh my gosh.
So wait, you shot the special pregnant.
Yeah, and nobody knows because I wasn't showing at all. It was pretty early on, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna tell anybody because I wanted to go to the doctor and make sure everything was okay first.
Right.
So this was like, I just kept my mouth shut and it was like,
well, that's great.
Hi guys.
Can you feel like they owe you 2 checks though? I'm just saying. I feel like according to SAG rules,
I think SAG is. I think Ryan's onto something.
I think he might be. Well, would that be considered child labor? Because he's an infant. I mean, he was formed.
I think it's background work. I think it's extra work. I think it's. I'm not sure.
I'll hit up SAG and I'll see if they can hook me up with an extra check for that.
Yeah.
So how have you guys been managing? I mean, like, I don't know. Ryan's performed a little bit, even though you said part of it was without a microphone in Central Park. So I don't know if there was a show or you were just screaming, but.
I walk in the park and run in the park during the day, and Donnie from another club that we won't mention on the Cellar podcast.
Oh, yes.
He's like, hey buddy, you in the park? He's like, why don't you come by? And I showed up and he's like, go on. And I was like, I was like all in gym gear, but I did it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was fine. It was more like I was a cult leader. There were people on blankets all around me, and I was like, I have a point to make.
Right. I am like, there are days where I feel like I've become a better comedian throughout this. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm worried. And then other days, there are days where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be so good when I get to do this full time again.
Yeah, because there's no evidence to disprove that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can pretty much build up any grandiose vision of your own propulsion to a different level of comedy, and no one's going to no one can say shit to you. It's awesome. You can just delude
Exactly.
yourself. You can
Yeah, we're all
delude yourself.
geniuses now. We're all comedy geniuses now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be.
I don't know. I was pretty bad before, so I figure I can't get any worse. It's fine.
Wow.
Wow.
Ryan, we need to work on your self-esteem. This is
No. Let's make this an optimistic, positive comedy podcast or whatever.
Yes,
we're doing.
Well, you know, I feel complete unbridled confidence now because I don't have to be around anybody, and all I have are my little ideas.
I totally see that. I have such a swagger in my step as I walk from one room in my apartment to the next. It's like no one. Who's better than me? You want to see some of this, huh? Bring it on. You want some of this? And I'm like, yeah, because I have nothing. I can build up whatever castles, comedy club castles in the air I want to, and nobody can see it.
You're just like, I'm a genius, and y'all, we're all on some Kanye stuff right now. Where we're like, I'm a genius.
Until some crowd proves otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Pryor and Chappelle had a kid. You're looking at him, and Bill Hicks right here. Right.
I just did my first live show with actual people. I mean, the other night, actually, in Astoria, at some.
On the truck?
What parking lot?
Yeah, right.
It was the back of a barber shop.
Really?
Who's running that one?
Who's booking that?
Yeah.
You got to know who's booking the parking lots.
Yeah, you have to now.
Who's booking that? Cedric the Entertainer? It's the barbershop circuit. That's like.
Yeah. Did we walk DC?
What?
DC? Did we walk him?
Did DC? Does he hate us?
DC dropped out. I don't know. Maybe he's got a bad connection in whatever
part of
suburban home he was in.
Is anyone else joining us, or is that just a Comedy Cellar
I think
logo?
We're just too intimidating as a panel.
No, I think we're doing a great job anyway.
Yeah, I think people.
You're very positive, Ryan.
Well, here's what I've learned, Ryan, is that when I'm asked to spearhead the Comedy Cellar Nightly, that means a few things. Robert Kelly is unavailable, and Noam and Esty are uninterested in joining this evening. So we get to do whatever we want.
So this is great.
They looked at the lineup and they were like, pass.
Yeah, they didn't even bother to get two more people that rhymed with Ryan on the show. You know what I mean? They got Ryan, Brian, and then what
Gina.
else
They were like,
do?
oh yeah, Gina.
It's Chaim Kasten, who's like, and Gina, and I don't know, DC, I guess. Like, so it's totally mess up the entire, verbal flow.
Yeah, but the school, school's out. We get to do whatever we want on this show right now.
Right.
Oh, great.
That's great. And so
I'm gonna keep bringing this unbridled joy, and it's just until Ryan Reiss cracks.
So
I'm having a great life, man.
You don't know, but this is Happy Ryan. Like,
Let me
this is Happy Ryan.
my best life.
Let me say this. I will. I'm going to play to Ryan's ego real quick because nobody believed him that the coronavirus was as bad as it gets, except he was saying it in January.
Told you.
If this guy was the president, we would not be on lockdown right now. We would have been locked down January to February, no flights, nothing. Everyone would be like, the guy's insane, and we wouldn't even have known what we're missing or what we would have missed.
That's fantastic. So
Ryan,
he was so up on it.
Now, Ryan, why did you have your finger on the pulse of the coronavirus zeitgeist?
Of Wuhan? Why did I have my finger on the pulse of Wuhan?
Yeah.
He has a bat
because you can't contain 80,000 people. That's a silly notion. It's a silly notion that you can contain this virus. It's like the wind. Good luck stopping it. You're not going to. Sorry.
What's the solution, President Ryan Reiss?
Unfortunately, we can just do our best not to get it, but we have to live with the reality that it's out there, and we're not going to hide from it because that's what we've been doing, and we'll probably see a spike in New York City when we start to reopen. But that's
September, man. I think September is we're gonna try it, and then it's gonna go back down. And all I want to do is comedy inside, specifically.
Now, can I ask President Ryan a question?
You with the microphone.
Excuse me, President Ryan. As you chug your, who knows whatever brandy liqueur.
It's all over, baby. It's all over.
It's all over.
It's all over.
How did you feel, knowing what you know about the coronavirus as the resident expert on the panel? How did you feel about, or do you have any thoughts on the controversial issue of protests, which could possibly have led to a spike in certain areas of this coronavirus pandemic that we're talking about. I'll yield my time.
I see where you're trying to steer me. I see the storm you're directing me into, but the reality situation is people are people, and it didn't matter if they were going to a protest or a bar or Central Park or wherever, they were going to go out. The new cases in New York City all claimed they were all quarantining, which clearly they weren't because they got COVID. So people are going to go out. Whatever reason they have to justify it, like I want to see a friend, I want to have a drink, I want to fight the power, whatever it is, they're going out. You're not stopping them.
I'll say this though, I went to a few protests. I didn't get it. And everybody that I saw out there, gloves, masks on properly, where it's outdoors, and it was also distance. Like the fact of the matter is like when you're marching, you got to have some space. Some people, obviously there are pictures, some people were arm in arm and this and that. But in my experience, everybody stayed away from me and my wife. We walked a couple times. We did this a few times, went to some speeches. Everyone was staying away. I saw other comics and stuff. And so I don't think that I think that what's worse is when I see people wearing a mask on their chin and having a full conversation with somebody in the street. No one's speaking. Everyone's facing the same way and marching with their mask on. I don't know. I don't think that the protests, personally, in my experience, I don't think that the protests had anything to do with the spike.
And where can we send our Biden donation?
Oh, I don't give a shit. Look, I don't care about Joe Biden, but I would vote for a toaster over
I'm
this
busting
guy.
your chops. I
know. It's like somebody keeps saying, like, I had a conversation today with somebody where they're like, oh yeah, but Joe Biden's just not the candidate I wanted. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I will vote for an inanimate object at this point.
We're all on board. What are you yelling at?
I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated with this idea that, like,
Ryan Reiss, you transferred your anger to the happy Ryan.
Yeah.
This is it, Gina. This is me happy.
This is what happened.
Well, he's actually concerned.
I'm seeing.
I'm
seeing like
literally. It's not fine, but it is fine.
What's fine?
I mean, this is not the end of the world. Things are not coming to an end. Obviously, the situation needs to change. I think we can all agree with that. But
said the man chugging liquor.
Right. Everything's fine.
Hey, everything's fine. Everything's fucking fine.
Take after my mom.
Let me pose a question.
Hey, how are you?
I have a question to pose.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is worse? What annoys you more? Let's not go with what's worse. What annoys you more? The people with no mask whatsoever, or the people that wear the mask right here and don't wear, not wearing it properly? What's more annoying?
Where are you?
Yes,
that's an important question.
Okay. I'm in Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
No, I'm saying, are you in a store? Are you in a building? Are you in the park? Are you on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I mean,
are you at a protest? Probably. I feel like you'd be at another.
Because there are yes.
Stop shaking your head, Gina.
I can't with you, Ryan.
Have the baby. Have the baby.
Have the baby.
That would be the best Zoom show ever if Gina gave birth right here.
My water broke.
Gina, you should sell tickets to your Zoom birth.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me.
I mean, there's good money in that, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I think it's the mask on the chin. It was the most annoying to me because you have it and you're not wearing it properly. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's on the street. And if you're talking to someone else,
okay. Well, okay, well, that's if you're talking face to face with someone else. Now, what if someone's walking by themselves and there's no one around them?
If there's nobody around them, I have taken my mask off to breathe a little bit and get. But then if people get close, I strap that thing back on. I've seen people who are within distance where you could get it, not wearing it properly. It drives me up the wall. I'd rather them not have a mask at all, so I could at least be like, oh, maybe they're just an idiot.
It's like people are dumb or something.
Huh?
Right.
It's like people are dumb or something.
It's like people don't. It's like people don't pay attention to the news, and they ain't up on things that's going on. That's what Ryan is. Point is. One of the Ryans is making a point. I don't know which Ryan is doing it, but one of you Ryans is doing it while Gina attends to her infant, who's yet to arrive.
My unborn baby.
Yeah, she's got unborn baby. I support that. I support the unborn.
Gina's
not so big on the born, but the unborn. serious a fan of the unborn. You just have that baby, and I'll walk out on him. But as long as he's in there, I'm a big fan.
Big supporter.
You got to arm him. We got to arm the infant.
Or got arm the fetuses.
Baby
That's
first
what you gotta do.
gun. Aw.
Did you guys see today? Did you see the photos out of my hometown of St. Louis where the two older white people, the guy had the assault rifle and the woman had the gun and her finger
Yeah,
up
that was weird.
Did you see this?
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest. That was the whitest Scarface audition I've ever seen. That was unbelievable. That was really eerie.
Yeah.
The Elks Lodge presents.
So the way that this happened was that the mayor of St. Louis, which this was just a horrible idea that I don't know why they did this in the first place, went on a briefing online, which I guess I didn't know that mayors are doing online briefings, but whatever. And she read the names and addresses of the people who signed the defund the police petition in St. Louis. Names and addresses of people who signed the petition. So those people, rightfully so, are pretty upset by being doxxed online by the mayor. And then doxxed, you know what doxxed means, is when they give your information, personal information. Anyway, so those people, obviously, they marched on the governor's house. Or not the governor, the mayor's house. They marched to the mayor's house, which is St. Louis is wildly racially divided, wealthy divided, whatever. So it's like mostly people of color marching through this very affluent white neighborhood to the mayor's house to go like, you fucking said where we live. We know where you live because you're the mayor. That's public knowledge. And we don't appreciate this. It was a peaceful protest. And these two old people who lived in the neighborhood, who are lawyers on the Missouri Ethics Board, brought an assault weapon. And the woman had a little gun out and she had her finger on the trigger holding the gun improperly. Like no gun safety at all. Like her finger's on the trigger and she's waving it around. It's crazy.
Okay, wait a second.
All right, even worse. Wait. Even worse. No mask.
And no mask.
Pissed me off. I was like, no mask? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? No mask?
But it wasn't so bad. But Ryan too, it wasn't so bad because at least they didn't have them over their chin. You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean?
Good point.
As you said, you'd rather have them not wearing it at all. Maybe that was a conscious choice.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to ask. I did not know that because it's fascinating when you turn on the news and you get the different narratives of what an event is. Mm-hmm. Because I went on Twitter and I said, okay, you see these two, the whitest militia members I've ever seen, middle-aged militia members. And so that street is where the mayor lives, and they
were marching to the mayor's house in St. Louis. It was a peaceful protest to march there because the mayor put out all their personal information because the mayor was upset that they signed the defund the police petition. And so then these two lawyers who are on the ethics board, who some of my friends' parents have worked with them. So this was crazy to learn out about who these people were, bring guns on their front lawn and point guns at the protesters.
So wait a second. So the mayor got on the air and doxed and read this was obviously a malicious act to shame these people.
I don't know why the mayor done this. I really don't, especially because it's a Democratic mayor.
Are they hypocrites? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I mean, I can't even imagine why they did that. What was the point of reading the names of the people who signed the petition?
Maybe they were proud.
Of course.
Maybe it was a positive thing. They were like, we just want to give a shout out to all these people.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
The police in St. Louis.
Yeah, but it's just crazy to read the names and addresses of any citizens, regardless of what petition they said. It's like, why would?
But that's a dumb move on the mayor's part because it's like, what did you expect them to do? Not show up at your house now?
Right.
Like, of course they're gonna show up there. Of course you're gonna piss people off.
So they march on this lady's house and other people in the neighborhood. Like, it's one thing to be upset. It's another thing to bring a gun to a peaceful protest and stand on your lawn when you're a lawyer on the ethics board. It's crazy.
I mean, did he know there was going to be a protest marching through his neighborhood?
Was he just casually hanging
I'm
out?
just
with his
saying,
son?
I might have get freaked out if I looked out my window and there was fucking 10,000 people on my lawn. I might be like, oh God.
Yeah. It really looked like a middle-aged Red Dawn. It looked like a middle-aged Red Dawn. It really.
like that
you know what
she
I mean?
had
It was just the saddest. It's like, really, dude, really, you're not. It was. I don't know. Anyway,
He has returned to us. I feel like we.
Yeah, DC, what were you gonna say?
No, I just like that she had a Derringer. I haven't seen one of those in a while. It's like she had the smallest pistol. The dude had the heavy artillery, but it was just you had a gambling ankle weapon, from Deadwood,
Yeah, exactly. He was like ready to commit mass murder, and she was ready to like really upset somebody,
right.
Was ready to trick people and then light a cigarette.
Right.
You guys thought it was real, didn't you?
I know. Nice house, though. I gotta
Well,
say.
yes.
Really,
God,
Lawn
we live
was
in New
nice.
York where the shootings are only tripling by the day. Thank God we live here.
Look, if any of us had a house that nice, we'd have an AR-15 too. That would be the first purchase I would make for the house. Like, I gotta say, I'm all for inclusivity and racial diversity, and I support the marchers. But if I gotta spread like that, you know what I mean? I gotta invest in some security. That's another thing. It's like, if you got that kind of thing, can't you lay out some cash for a couple of guys from Colombia to come up and well, now that I've offended somebody on that one, right? But I'm just saying,
Offended on behalf of the Colombian people.
the Colombian peoples now, I've totally fucking made a bad faux pas. They're gonna show up and dox me, man.
You just got to weaponize the sprinkler. That sprinkler. You just got to have something, so it sprays lead a little bit. It's that lawn was impeccable. I looked at that lawn. I'm like, Jesus. You have to break out the heavy artillery. But look at that lawn. Look at the landscaping that went on there. It was not a footprint.
So wait. I
really started. What's that?
I got a question for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So we're obviously all concerned that there's a middle-aged white guy with an assault rifle on his front lawn.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in our own backyard in the Bronx, hundreds of murders in the last 2 days.
Yes.
And we don't care.
I think hundreds is.
Well, I don't have the numbers. It might be like 100 or like over since.
No. There was a couple.
Like a month, I think.
There were some skirmishes. A couple grazings, but 100 in the Bronx.
I said over a month.
It is June. It's June. It's hot. It's hot.
There's been a lot
I
going
love
on in the Bronx.
DC. I haven't heard the word skirmish used to describe a bunch of shooting victims, but I like that. There was a folderol, a bit of some fisticuffs, like some kind of 50s lingo. There was
someone got cudgeled.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's definitely bad but there's nowhere to go, and it's like violence always goes up in the summer. There's nowhere to go, and it's like it's definitely bad, man.
There was a 17-year-old high school basketball player got shot in the neck last night, and he's dead.
Ugh.
And you're like, but this guy in Missouri had a gun. Why?
I don't know why can't both things be bad?
You didn't bring up the other.
Right.
You didn't bring up the other. You just ran over it like it didn't matter.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, how dare
it didn't matter?
Ryan, how dare you not bring up everything that's going on the planet simultaneously and single out one issue? You
got to talk about one thing, and then you can talk about another thing. Both things are bad.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Next up, black on black crime. Who's going to go throw that into the? Right.
I don't know that it even was.
Well,
How do you know the guy in St. Louis didn't shoot him with that gun? Maybe he's really good. You know what I mean? Maybe a loose round got out and traveled to New York. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing.
Wouldn't that really just make things
Gina,
better?
work with me on this, Gina. Just work with me.
Obviously, the bullet traveled all the way to New York on the Spirit Airlines, where all bullets travel.
It's like it's a smart bomb. It's like a smart bullet. Who knows? I don't know. I saw Westworld. They're doing some crazy shit nowadays.
They can for sure.
They totally can.
I don't think there's time to cover every crazy thing that's gone on.
There's too much, man.
What's going on with the Taliban?
Oh no. There? Anybody?
Oh,
golf carts. They have golf carts now.
Yeah.
Was this the Russia putting bounties on American soldiers and our president not doing anything?
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if that story. There's something weird about that story.
I'm
Yeah.
here. Danny Cohen's joining us.
Oh shit, Danny Cohen. He's gonna have an update.
Hey.
He's out.
Oh my God! Last time this happened, last time I was hosting, Danny Cohen Zoom bombed us from the olive tree. And here he is again,
That maniac. He's a fucking maniac.
jumping in the middle of our
I'm
conversation
not
about gun violence.
Okay, no, he's not Zoom bombing.
I was expected here. They told me that I needed to show up,
We needed
and
you, like,
I showed up.
Good. Danny, where are you eating right now?
Hummus, some Israeli salad.
You look like you're practicing hummus distancing.
He
There.
is eating hummus.
Where are you?
Who likes cucumbers?
Yay.
Who doesn't?
Cucumbers.
For
Hey,
what
Doesn't
purpose?
like.
All right, great. So
That fucking maniac.
You're
Maniac.
killing Beck, Danny. Stop it.
The Jew with the
I'm
buffet.
with Lori
just killing.
Summer. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
hello. I'm sure she wants to be on this podcast.
Beck, you're doing a great job, dude. We appreciate
Yeah. I mean,
you. We appreciate you.
Look,
Yeah,
everybody. Look.
This is the kind of highbrow.
Fucking maniac, dude. That guy's
This
a
is
maniac.
this is the kind of highbrow humor people want to see when they tune in.
Lock him up, man. Lock him up. Throw away the key.
Right, we're gonna get in trouble with SD.
I told you, Esty does not care about. Esty heard Danny was going to eat a cucumber. She got the heads up way before we did, and she said, "I don't want any part of that. I'm going to stay in and watch."
I miss you guys. How you guys
Channel."
doing? You ever
Thank you, Danny.
All right. If we get lucky, Danny's phone will die.
Yeah.
July
That Butch Cassidy fucking
July 6th, we're
Mask.
back in. You guys, you're gonna come back?
I lied.
What?
What is happening?
Laying down, uncomfortable, out in Strong Island.
What are you guys doing? Yeah.
You know about this podcast? A few more people.
Hey, Ryan Reiss, real quick. When I was going through the list of things that are horrible, I also didn't mention Danny's Zoom presence.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
There.
Yeah.
Wow. Surprise,
I'm not
surprise.
Guys,
I forgot.
So what's happening here? Is
And I
this like a chill table? Is this like, are you chilling out and just talking about life?
Yeah, just important things, Danny Cohen. Important
Danny-
shit, man. You got to liven it up, bro.
Fruits and your mask.
Of the spilkes.
oh my god, you guys.
Is he at the olive tree?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh.
Fucking insane.
I can tell by the
Stop
cucumber
by
and the
after,
hummus. That is definitely
after
the
the
olive
live.
tree.
Come by,
You got it, buddy.
okay? No. Now you're in North Fork.
Even
No,
a pandemic.
DC is not
Danny
coming
from
by
using
it.
that discount.
No, I'm not coming by, bro.
He's like over there, like in South Fork or North Fork.
The North Fork, bro.
North
different,
Fork.
different.
Green
Big
Wow.
difference, bro.
Green
Big
Fork.
difference. It's
East
like
Fork.
hummus
He's
of
in the
hummus.
West Fork. He's
Yeah.
in one of the forks.
All right.
Fork.
DC is in one of the forks. But if you
Yeah.
weren't in the forks, I would expect you to show up at the
I'd
Cellar
show up,
after
but it's
this
a long
live.
drive, bro. I'd show up. I'd come see you.
I
We'd
know.
have some hummus.
I know.
We'd chill out, talk about the good old days, and yeah, just have some pickles through a fucking scarf. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about.
I don't have anything.
I can't hear anything.
I know. All right, bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye, Danny.
Bye, guys. See you after the pandemic.
Fucking insane.
All
What am I
right.
doing here? What the fuck am I doing here?
I just like that it cuts back to Ryan Beck's face every second after Danny talks. Ryan looks so disappointed.
It drives me crazy. Every time that I host one of these guys, he Zoom bombs us trying to eat a pickled sheet. Crazy. I'm hoping they charge him full price.
Mm.
You came during a
See,
pandemic.
that's a great question. Do we still get a discount?
Yeah, right? Are we still getting regular?
23%. 23%.
Yeah.
For you, DC, 10%.
Well, all right. Before that was crazy. I don't even. We were talking about some pretty dreary topics, so maybe we can shift it a little bit, and we'll talk about.
Sorry to interrupt you, buddy. DC did a great thing on Vic Henley today, and I really thought it was awesome. And anytime DC wants to talk about Vic Henley, I want to hear it.
Yeah. Hey, DC, that final joke is so exquisitely perfect that it strains credulity. It's so good, right? like that.
Those are some big words, bro.
What's that?
Those are some big words, man. I appreciate it. They sound good to me, man. They sound good. I appreciate that.
No, it's such a that final. What was it? Was the Bama
the Vasco da Gama, baby.
Yeah,
the
there you
Vasco da
go.
Gama.
It was great.
I appreciate that you guys like that. Look, I love that dude. I fucking love that dude, and I never got to really. We did the send off, and I just marinated on it and resonated on it, and I just was like, if I put something out there and then encourage people afterwards to go check out his shit that don't know him, that's something I could do as an artist. Shouting out another artist that I fucking loved and respected, man. So that, and there's a lot of people I would do that for, and it just, I love that guy, man. And it was, Vic, it came from an emotional place, man.
Yeah, it was great because Vic had that unfiltered integrity about him, that where he really had this loose cannon like magic about him, that he would just blurt shit out, and it was ballsy and truthful, and it was,
he didn't
just
give
great.
a fuck
he would
about
call people out on shit.
Yes,
all the time.
Yes, and here's what's really funny about that is, like, two things happened in the aftermath of that story. Well, one is that I've been getting all these Me Too Lucian stories all day. People hit me up with these Me Too Lucian stories that Lucian did this and told them the exact same shit, and it's sad and it's hilarious. Like, fucking,
right.
Joey Cola calls me up and he's like, I had the exact same experience with Lucian, right, where he pulled me in the booth and he's like, we already got Joey's, we already got Anthony's, what do we need you for? And Joey's like, well, what does that mean? And Lucian was like, you know what that means. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just funny that spawned something else, But look, man, it came out of love for a fellow comedian, and we've had a few of ours fallen, and I Lazada, all these guys, and I missed them all, and I love them all, and it's like, every now and then you get to try and pay a tribute, and I'm glad that resonated, and that means a lot to me that you guys said that, man. For real.
Where did you put it? Where did you post this?
I put it on. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook.
It's on my Facebook too.
Okay, cool.
But
it's great.
DC's,
and I got the side shout out William Stevenson on it, which is the other thing. I'm like, I got a side shout out William Stevenson. The dude. So. But
it's funny. It's funny that like everyone's calling in with their Me Too Lucian story. You know what I mean? Like we all got Me Too'd by Lucian. Everybody got, like, because I don't know what. I don't even remember. I remember him castigating me and shredding me completely, sitting me down in the booth and telling me what was wrong with my act, But all I remember, I don't even remember. Then weeks later, I was working at the club. I don't know how that happened. That's the thing that I was like, I don't know what did he forget that he didn't think I was good? But then I just started working there, and I literally can't tell you how I transitioned from being viciously, mutilated by him in a booth stabbing at the Strip, and then a couple of months later, I'm doing spots. I was like, didn't you not like? I don't know, like it's but the one with you is classic, where he liked the same bits that he, just bitterly attacked.
Oh,
That's
it was
just
the
vintage.
complete reverse. But I've heard
Yeah.
that so many times, and it's just, look, I'm not going to shit on the industry and people who book, or do this or do that or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear that. You're going to hear and it was just such being young at that time. You guys know when you're young and you get your first rejection on this stuff, or you're not your first or one of many to come, and it's like based on some bullshit, and then they flip it around and it's the same stuff that they said, you're never going to work, we don't know your type, this, that, blah blah. Then suddenly it's like, you're a genius, I've never seen anything quite like this before. Ryan Reiss.
Does anybody know the Rich Jenny Tonight Show story?
What's that?
Rich Jenny auditioned for the Tonight Show like 9 times or something and couldn't get on. And you know how funny Rich was.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just
Brilliant.
great. And what's his name? Who's the older guy that when Carson was doing, I can't remember his name, who did the booking, but he wouldn't book him. And then Jenny did that Jaws routine. Do you know that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great, right? Like it's a great bit. And the guy said, it was such a good bit that the guy saw him do it or whatever, and then booked him on the show, and he crushed with it. And he said, you've grown so much as a comedian. You've grown so much. It's like, and they told Jenny this, and Jenny goes, I just did a bit he liked. That's it. You know what I mean? And that's it. It had nothing to do with growth. I was the same comic exactly who was crushing. He didn't like my bits. He liked that bit. They booked him. He destroyed on the show. Then they booked him like 8 times for all the bits that the guy didn't like, and he crushed on all his appearances on there. But that's like a classic comedy. Yeah. Oh yeah, you've grown so much. You've really improved.
We've always been big fans of yours.
Yeah, big fans.
We're such fans, Gina.
Big fans.
Big fans. That's it.
The same joke, the same wording, everything in a different context with a different response from a different crowd, And suddenly you've improved. You've really grown as a performer. What have you been working? No, it's the same shit you saw a month ago. You just you're myopic and you've got your own shit and it has nothing to do with me. Right?
Well, everything is context, everything is context. If there's if you do this stuff and there's some kind of accumulated interest, right? That's a different deal. If there's if it's agreed upon by the general public of the industry that there's some heat that is starting to build, then suddenly you're a fucking genius doing the same stuff you were doing before.
Nothing says growth quite like heat. It's nothing suddenly, oh, you're good, you've improved. No, everyone likes me and you want to jump on the bandwagon now? Fuck you, right? But I'll take it, Yeah.
You don't outwardly say that. You inwardly say that.
Yes.
Inwardly, Gina. Very inwardly.
Whatever they offer.
Extremely inwardly.
What about
and that's when your neck goes out or your back goes out for no fucking reason.
So inwardly that only on I hope this show doesn't get outwardly, because
we've all had those moments where you're talking to somebody that books a show or books a late night and they've seen you a dozen times and you get the same spiel from them, or they give you what I hate more is the BS critiques that you'll get from them about nothing about your material. It'll be like, I just feel like that was the wrong club for you to showcase it. I'm like, what about material you saw? Did you actually listen to any of that? Those critiques will really get to you.
I had an experience with a booker person who they've seen me many times for their thing, and then I guess it was 2 years ago now, they didn't want to see me at all. And they were like, we're fine with that. And so then I had to send a tape the next time. And the tape, that next tape that I sent them had the Comedy Cellar sign behind me. And then all of a sudden they were
that's it.
I'm telling you, it's for the most ridiculous reason.
Yep.
Comedy Cellar sign is stamped. That's a stamp right there. That's
I mean, I do I do voiceover work, and there was a casting director who, no matter what you did, she would always criticize what you did. And I used to get freaked out by her every time I did anything, no matter how good it was. She would go, "That was good, but try it this way, try it this way." And it drove me crazy, because no matter what. And then one day I just go, you know what, I'm going to try an experiment. And I'm going to tell her that her critique is, oh, that's really good. I'm going to do it exactly like that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before, right? Because I'm really good at that. I can do the exact read. I know what it like. So I did my read. She was going, try it a little more like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try it. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's a great, let me try that. And I did the exact, and she goes, you see, like, and I was like, oh, I get it. You just want to get stroked. I get it, right? Like that's your ego needs a little stroking. And I, every time my auditions after that for her, I was like, let me do that. That's great. Oh my God, what a great note. Let me do, and I would do the same thing I want. Yeah, see that thank you. That I love helping actors.
Well, you as the artist know best. It's like you just got to do the best. You've got to try to politely discourage being your creativity being hampered by somebody who doesn't know. So you have to do it you have to be diplomatic with it, and then you do it and you deliver the goods, because ultimately you have to deliver the goods one way or the other, and that's it, man. That's what you did.
Totally. And the thing is, we even get fooled. You know what I mean? You ever see some comic on a shitty night or something? We can get fooled. We can go, that guy sucks. And then we'll say, wow, I didn't know.
Wow, right.
That's happened where you're like looking at somebody and they have an off night, or the crowd's not into them and they're not in their best energy.
But sometimes you see that spark though, right? Sometimes you see that spark, like if someone's eating a dick up there. Like you're watching somebody for the first time and they're eating a dick, and then you're like, oh boy. And you put yourself in that position, because we've all eaten a dick up there. And then you see how they handle it, and you see that one little thing they throw out, and you're like, oh, okay, they got some legs. This isn't in a good context for it,
But context.
Sad that they're wrong, and then they'll do the one bit that impresses you, and you're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, okay, right.
Hold on.
I do that a lot, and it's usually one of DC's bits, but it works every time. So I mean,
I could see something brewing in your little.
I
could see it while we were all talking. I was like, Ryan's sitting there waiting for his in to say something.
Oh, just throwing jabs, baby. Jab.
Dude, I love that brick wall in the back, though. How classic is that? How it's like. It's New York iconic, and it's like the comedy club. That's also the 80s.
That's not virtual, Ryan. That's not virtual.
That's the real deal. It was all sheetrock. I had to rip down the wall and get it fixed.
That's what's up.
Wait, because I got
thing.
Here.
To have someone rip down sheetrock for you.
Now, Brian.
There you go, Ryan. Take that. Okay.
No.
Shit. Look at that. Look at that. Hold your microphone up.
Yeah.
Now we're back at the club.
It's great to be here, folks. It's awesome. Great to be on the Cellar podcast with the great Ryan Reiss. And this is an all Ryan except for two show, or all rhyming Ryan, and Brian, the radio show, and a very pregnant Gina, who has to name the kid Ryan. Who has to name the kid Ryan from the show now. It has to be forced. DC Ryan, I think, would be a good name.
DC Ryan is a good name. Mm-hmm. Jack Ryan's brother,
Right. Yes.
Oh shit!
Can you guys hear the fireworks outside?
Not in my neighborhood yet.
Not in my neighborhood. I hear raccoons fighting.
He sees in the Hamptons. He hears violence.
I'm not in the Hamptons, bro. I'm not in the fucking Hamptons, bro. I'm this dude. I'm in the country, man. I'm in the country. It is shut down. There's people with tractors and shit. There's ticks. It's a whole fucking different deal, bro. It's not like there's not Maseratis and stuff.
Hey, DC, are you by that restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm 5 minutes away from there, bro.
There you go. Away. That was a sweet. That was a pretty cool gig.
They loved you, man.
was great.
Yeah, they loved you, and you came out, you did your shit, and it's like that was in this area, Suffolk County. There's a lot of like-minded individuals, and that was sort of an enclave. That was sort of an enclave of free thinkers that came to see you that night, and ate good food, and that's what you try to create out here.
Are they open?
He is open. Yes, he is open. So that will be revisited. A little. It was like big night with comedy, and it was. These are experiments. These are experiments. I'm not a fucking promoter, whatever. But they were. It's great. People come out and they eat a great dinner by a 5-star chef who know. Look, this guy who owns this place. This guy told me. I said, "Why did you move out here? Why did you move out here from the city? You had a great restaurant in the city. You had one in Miami." He goes, "One day there was a knock on the door, and he had wanted to get out of his business. He had to pay. They owed him some money. His partners owed him money. Okay, and they're like, we got to give you like $500,000 or whatever it was. Blah blah. So he's expecting this buyout. He's going to get his money and get the fuck out. Gets a knock on the door. This dude in the suit comes, is there, and he's standing there. Gives him an envelope, and he's like, "That's $30,000. That's all you're going to get. If you complain about it, we're going to bury you, your mother, your grandmother, and your kid in that fucking pet cemetery right up the street, and that's what you're going to get." So he's like, "I took the money, I got the fuck out, I moved out here, and now he's like, he's happy, and he doesn't have those stressors, because that's kind of stressful, to have that kind of business relationship,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just
Stressful is the word.
But it's not. It's nice to be out here but I'm in the country, man, and I miss you guys. I miss that environment of comedy in the city and blah blah blah. And I'm in the country, and it's quiet, and there's beaches, and there's whatever, and it's good to be able to be connected to this and see what's going on there, and hear a little something of what used to be, for me, and
also
what you guys are doing.
And eat a pickle through a sheet.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Danny Cohen knows a lot about pickles, and to eat it through a sheet, that's a special kind of skill.
I think that's how the sect of his Jewish religion does it. I'm not entirely sure.
Everything through a sheet.
The landlords.
I could be wrong. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't wait to get back doing this. I just don't know when we're gonna get to. I just go back.
Any updates on that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's like, if I remember right, I think it's like phase 4 or 5 or something is like live music and venue, like live performances or something like that.
Phase 4, but they're having a problem with the third phase because they don't want to let people eat inside right now.
Yeah.
So anything inside, they're very fearful of because of everything that's happening all over the country.
Plus, with the AC, they're worried about the AC spreading it.
Yes.
Yeah. With summer. So.
Damn.
There's a million concerns about having people eat inside, but I do miss comedy clubs so much.
Oh yeah.
I went and I filmed something at Gotham, and I was there with the crew was wearing masks and staying away from me, and I was filming something there, and they wanted to film me walking through the club, and they were like, "Can you look sad?" I was like, "I am."
I don't have to act on that. Yeah.
I'm legitimate. These tears are real. I want to work.
They're like, let's try one where this is a sad take, and you're like, "That's great. I'll do that."
Yeah.
Let me do that.
I'll do that. That's exactly great advice. Thank you so much. I'll do a sad take now.
Yeah, this thing is really taking a toll. Enough already. I can't. Enough already.
They're still doing comedy all over the country, even in Texas and Florida. They're still doing shows.
I heard that.
Weird.
Yeah.
I just got the email from the what's that spot in Montreal that they're like 50% open now. Comedy Nest, yeah, 50% open. And it's God, man, fuck. Do I miss it? Do I miss getting on stage and making people laugh? Man, it's hard, and you see it popping up around and you're like, please guys, don't fuck it up. Don't pass out on stage. Don't
That wasn't because of the virus. That was because he was his diabetes and he's dehydrated. He was out the night before. That had nothing to do with virus.
But then he also had the virus.
Have the virus.
Yeah. But it wasn't he's asymptomatic. It wasn't the virus's fault. It was his own choices.
Sure. I get it. I wish him well or whatever, but you're like, God, man, just hopefully this stuff doesn't get shut down again. It doesn't get shut down again. I mean, we're waiting very patiently with a minimal amount of warm bath and razor blades. You know what I mean? We're waiting patiently, but God damn, man, it seems like you just don't want people to fuck things up, and do it too soon or do whatever. So we sustainable, you know.
I don't feel comfortable doing it. I would love to do a comedy club, but I also don't feel comfortable putting my, we'll see my wife's parents and they're in their 70s. So it's like, do I want to risk my wife's parents' lives for feature work? I don't know.
Right.
That might put damper on my.
They know that you're not serious about this.
If I bring,
I love the comedy lingo that we can communicate in. Am I going to do it for feature work? I mean, what I'm saying is, I mean, maybe if maybe for a guest set, but not for feature money. I mean, that's awesome.
A food spot, late at night in the cellar. A food spot.
Can I get a
Pop, come here, give me a kiss. Oh shit! I just saw my dad. He's 84. I hadn't seen him for this whole time, and it was weird too. We had to sit apart, and we did no hugging and this and that, and just everybody. It's crazy because the quarantining and this and that. But I also feel like you also have to push through where you may not see these people again. You may not see these people again, so you take all the precautions just to be with some kind of family, because every time could be the last time. Well, I don't want to make this a dark podcast. If I push this in the wrong
direction, it's a little late. It's a little late for that, DC. But thanks.
SD's like, DC will never do this podcast again.
I'm never going to
dark energy.
You're bringing everyone down.
But I think it's important to be realistic about it, and like you said, you want to see your people, but the way that we get to do that again is if everybody else quits fucking up, basically. It's like, well, I want to be reopened, but it's like this thing's still around, so I don't know why everyone's in a rush.
I know, and it's things are. I mean, it's such a weird thing. It's getting so bad. I mean, Trump's losing support from old people like that. Like that. I never thought I'd see that happen. The elderly wanted to burn the country down to punish their grandkids for never visiting them before they die, and now they're actually coming around on this thing because a pandemic, I think, is taking place in Florida or whatever. I don't know what's going on.
Plague, yeah. There's a plague that's going to change a lot of people's minds.
Yes,
I'm having a hard time.
And Ryan Reiss was ahead of the curve.
Yes, he was.
He was.
You want to hear ahead of the curve? DC was like, no hugging relatives. My family was doing that in childhood.
His glass is empty, folks. His glass is empty.
Ryan Reiss,
McFadden. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Reiss.
Ryan Reiss, ladies and gentlemen. His next special, look for it, Ahead of the Curve.
Ahead of the curve.
We're good.
Ryan Reiss, Ahead of the Curve. That's your show, Ryan. You better have me on when you book that. Right. Ahead of the Curve with Ryan Reiss.
Brian, have I grown as a performer? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, Ryan. I'm saying that. I'm saying it inside.
Is there a
I'm saying that inside, and I'm saying it outside, Ryan. You've grown. You've expanded. When I first saw you, you were a little urchining with your little crowd work. With your little crowd work things that you did, and now look at you. You've blossomed. My boy's all grows up. You're all grows up, Ryan, with your I don't know, grease haircut there. It's just it's beautiful to see.
I got this in Nashville. It's like a rockabilly haircut.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The Stray Cats, it's not. But anyway, whatever.
Well, at least that
Whatever.
shirt is no longer on the hanger. I used to see Ryan Reiss, and Ryan Reiss every night would have that shirt on the hanger before his set at fucking Dangerfields. We're like,
I
where's
was his
Dangerfield?
opener. He's not being fair. I was DC's opener. That's why I had. That's
You
why
were
I
great,
had-
bro. You were great.
So wait a minute, DC would have some kind of sartorial compulsory wardrobe that you had to wear. What was this?
Not at all. That was
Okay.
that was completely that was his choice. What we would do is I was like, we would get these shit gigs together, and I'd be like, look, Reese, we're gonna find the best place to eat. That's what our thing was. Whatever the shit gig was, we're finding the best place to eat in town, and and we're gonna eat there, and that's gonna get us through this. That's gonna be our thing. And that's what we would do, man. And he'd bring his shirt on a hanger. You know,
It was a big deal to me. I was excited. so this is DC. It's all about the meal for DC. It's never about the show. It's about the meal. And one night he found this restaurant in Connecticut, like a real high-end place, like very nice.
I think I've worked two. Yeah.
There was like 8 tables in the whole place, and we're eating dinner, and our salads hit the table, and he starts peppering my salad. And now all the other couples are looking at us like, they make a handsome couple. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh my God, I do this for my wife. I'm so sorry.
Oh, shit. I wish Danny Cohen was there that night. I would have peppered his salad.
Sounds a completely different meaning, probably. Right? I'll pepper his salad. That sounds like a Paul. That sounds like a Paul Lynde line from Hollywood Squares, right? I'll pepper your salad anytime.
Oh shit, man! Oh shit. So Gina, when is that baby coming? When's that baby dropping?
My next project drops July 17th. July 17th is D-Day.
Really?
Awesome.
He's gonna come earlier. I honestly think he's gonna come earlier because the doctor's like, well, there's no signs that he's gonna come earlier, and I'm like, a mother knows.
Now, Gina, is there like a range? Like if you like what's like a safe range? Like where it's like okay, I can have the baby after this date. It's like
It's usually like within the week of. So they give you a date, and it's usually give or take a couple days within that week. So they don't know for sure. You know?
But it's in that range, right?
Yeah,
and before that is somewhat dangerous, I suppose, if it's early, depending on how early. But
yeah, it really depends on how early. Because like I have a girlfriend of mine who is also pregnant, and she was due around the same time, and they're talking about inducing her labor because the baby has gotten so big, and they're like, yeah, we gotta get that thing out of you. Like we gotta remove that sucker now.
Terrible.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Gina, are you worried about giving birth in this climate?
I'm scared shitless about giving birth in general. Like forget about
regardless of the climate.
I see. Good point.
I am terrified, but I've talked to my doctor about it, and you know, I think I was scared at first that I was maybe gonna have to give birth at home because I was like, are they gonna let us in hospitals? Like, what's gonna go on? I better prepare for a home birth, and I did not want that. So I spoke to my doctor, and he was like, no, maternity is a different wing of the hospital. You'll be fine. It's a totally different thing. Nothing's affecting it. But if you're uncomfortable staying in the hospital, what I was told was, if you feel well enough, you can leave after 24 hours. Like after giving birth, depending on how you're physically doing. So we're like, yeah, you can go. Like you can just leave, take this baby and get out of here. Because they know people are feeling, you know, it's scary to be in a hospital.
Right. Are you going with the drugs? The epidural?
All the drugs before. I want every drug. I want all of them.
Me too.
Hear that?
I would not want to do this without it.
Are you still a vegetarian?
No. I had a protein and
that was quick.
I was trying to be vegan actually. It was my first time really attempting to be vegan, and I failed epically. But then when I got pregnant, I started to get really anemic because I was still trying to eat vegan. And finally the doctor was like, you're gonna have to do something. Like your protein levels were, I was really protein deficient, so I started eating chicken and stuff like that. But once he's born, I want to go back to it. Like I want to go back to vegetarian.
Good luck.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be real hard. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna lie. Just on a convenience level of like what I can eat,
Yeah.
it's gonna be difficult. Like I would probably do vegetarian over veganism for sure. Because at
I
least
just like the doctor prescribed you ribs. He was like, your iron's pretty low. You should get a full rack.
I hate that you sat there this whole time listening to me talk, knowing you were gonna say that. As
He was
I was
saving
thinking
it
about
up.
ribs the whole
He was saving
time.
it up.
I
love-
knew it.
No, what I was thinking, Gina, was like, oh, so your veganism or whatever you're doing was not healthy for you at this moment in life. So you had to go eat meat, which was the healthier option.
Yeah, it really was. Which was the ironic part where it was like, yeah, your body needs that protein. Even if I tried to supplement with, different types of the black beans have a whole bunch of protein in them, it still wasn't doing anything. So I was like, all right, well.
Gina, what are you doing for your stand-up? Are you getting on stage? Where are you now? And are you getting where are you out there like at all, or because
I
we're
was
pregnant
doing
and stage, or
Zoom
like
stuff. I did a
Zoom?
couple Zoom shows. I did like one or two. Liz Mealy had a fun one that I did. And then I did another one that was okay, but it's just not the same. Like last night I did my first show outdoors.
Wow.
For people. And that was a totally different, it was amazing. I loved it. Just being around people, I was like, thank you for this. Like even, I was doing all new stuff and I was just like, this is good or bad. Like if you guys don't like this material, it's fine. I'll work on it, but I'm having a blast just performing, just being
That's
out
great.
there, man.
That's a good thing, and hopefully something that we can all hold on to when it comes back is a little bit of that. Who fucking cares? I'm gonna do my thing. I feel very. I haven't got to perform live since this has happened, but I do. Like I was saying at the top of this whole thing, like there is a little bit of a confidence that I feel. Whereas like when I get back there, I'm just gonna feel grateful to get to do it. And I'm not gonna even. I say this now, but if, I don't feel like I'm going to feel a lot of those external pressures that sometimes you put on yourself.
I don't think the audiences will be the same either. I think the audiences will be so excited to be watching a live performance. At least those first couple of shows, we're not going to get douchey, impatient audience members. We're going to get people
People are going to be, there's going to be none of that angry, distracted thing. There's going to be happy, giddy folks excited to be out, and having a communal experience. Thank God, regardless of who's on the show.
PC, you okay?
I'm all right.
I'm
all right.
I'm losing them.
All that made me. I had to sneeze thinking about it. But all I know is when it's time to get back on stage again, I'm gonna. I'm gonna fucking rip that shit. I'm gonna fucking go in there and rip that shit. I cannot wait for that time. I cannot fucking wait.
I want to thank everybody for doing this tonight. I think it was really fun. And if anybody wants to plug anything, go for it. But Mike's gonna shut this down for us. Thank you for everybody for watching. This is Comedy Cellar Nightly. Thank you guys. I can't wait to see you in person.
Miss you guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye,
Peace
guys.
out, everybody.
Good luck, Gina. Keep us informed.
Yes, Gina. Safe and blessed birth. Good luck.
Blessed be the birth. Good night.